Understanding stakeholder analysis, the key to project success. Most projects do not fail because of a technical glitch or a lack of budget. They fail because of people you did not even know were watching. If you want to stop your hard work from being sabotaged by someone in another department who feels left out, you need to master stakeholder analysis before you send your next email. Managing a project is a lot like trying to organize a massive family Thanksgiving dinner. You have the people who are actually cooking the turkey and the people who are just showing up to eat. You have the neighbor who is annoyed about the extra cars parked on the street and that one uncle who will complain no matter what you serve. If you only talk to the people cooking the turkey and ignore the grumpy neighbor or the picky uncle, your dinner party is going to be a disaster. In the professional world, we call this stakeholder analysis. It is the secret weapon of every successful project manager and change leader. Today, we are going to break this down. We will start by defining exactly what stakeholder analysis is and why it is the backbone of project success. Then, we will walk through the 5 critical steps. The 5 steps are identifying your stakeholders, analyzing their needs, assessing their power, mapping them on a visual grid, and developing a winning engagement strategy. By the time we are done, you will have a clear roadmap to keep your projects on track and your reputation solid. What is stakeholder analysis anyway? Before we get into the how, we need to be very clear about the what. Stakeholder analysis is not just a fancy way of making a contact list. It is a systematic process where you identify every person or group that has a stake in your project and then analyze how they might influence your outcome. Think of it like a study of human impact and reaction. You are looking at a complex ecosystem. Every project lives inside a web of interests. If you change one thing over here, it might cause a vibration that upsets someone over there. A stakeholder is anyone who is affected by the project or can influence it. Even if they just think they are affected by the project, they are a stakeholder. That last part is important. Perception is reality in change management. If a department head thinks your new software is going to make their team redundant, they are a high-priority stakeholder, even if their fear is totally wrong. Stakeholder analysis is the tool you use to see these issues coming before they hit you. It is about moving from a reactive mode to a proactive mode. It is the difference between being a leader and just being someone who sends out status updates that no one reads, the high cost of ignoring your stakeholders. Why do we spend so much time on this? Because the alternative is project collapse. One of the primary causes of project failure is poor stakeholder management. Imagine you are implementing a digital filing system for a law firm. You spend months picking the best software. You train your core team, but you forget the senior partners. On launch day, they refuse to use the system. They tell their teams to keep using paper. Your project is dead on arrival because you ignored key people. When you ignore stakeholders, you miss out on risk mitigation. You could have identified that opposition early and found a way to win those partners over. Without analysis, you are also gambling with your resources. Stakeholders are often the people who hold the keys to the budget, the staff, and the equipment you need. If they don't see the value in what you are doing, they will pull those resources away the moment things get difficult. It helps you align expectations. Most conflict in business happens because person A expected one thing and person B delivered another. By analyzing stakeholders early, you can find out what they actually expect. This builds buy-in. When people feel heard, even if they don't get exactly what they want, they are much more likely to support the final result. Step 1. Identifying everyone in the room. The first step is the most basic. You need to brainstorm every possible person connected to your work. Don't just look at the obvious people, take a wide lens view. Start with internal stakeholders like your team and your boss, but look further to upper management, the finance department, IT, and the sales team. Next, look at external stakeholders. This includes your customers, your suppliers, and even government or regulatory bodies. Community and environmental groups are major external stakeholders. Finally, don't forget the indirect influence. For example, if you change shifts for a manufacturing plant, the families of the workers are indirect stakeholders. Write every single one of these names or groups down on a big list. No one is too small to include at this stage. Step 2. Figuring out what they actually want. Now that you have your list, move from who they are to what they want. This is where you put on your detective hat and understand their motivations. Ask the what's in it for me question for every person. A CFO cares about ROI. An entry-level employee might care about job security or ease of work. This is also the time to map out potential objections. Don't be afraid of the no. Ask yourself, why would this person hate my project? Preemptively identifying these concerns allows you to address them in your communication later. You're evaluating impact to see who needs the most attention. If the impact is high, they need more of your attention. If low, they go further down the priority list. Step 3. Assessing power and interest. Not all stakeholders are created equal. Some people can stop your project with a single phone call, while others can complain all day without changing a thing. Power is about authority. Who can approve your budget or reject your final deliverable? Sometimes power is formal, like a CEO. Other times it is informal influence. Engagement or interest is about how much they care. Some want to be in every meeting. Others just want a summary email once a month. When you combine power and interest, you start to see a clear picture of how to manage your time. Step 4. The Power Interest Grid. We take all that information and put it onto a visual tool called the Power Interest Grid. Imagine a graph with 4 quadrants representing power and interest. In the top right corner, you have your key players. These are people with high power and high interest. You must manage them closely as your biggest supporters. In the top left corner are the context setters. They have high power but low interest. Keep them satisfied, but don't overwhelm them with data they don't want. In the bottom right are the subjects with low power but high interest. Keep them informed so they don't become a source of resistance. In the bottom left is the crowd with low power and low interest. Monitor them with minimal effort like a general newsletter. Step 5. Building your engagement strategy. The final step is turning analysis into action. You need a plan for how you will communicate with each group identified on your grid using the right tools. Key players might need a weekly lunch. Subjects might need a town hall. Context. Setters might just need a one-page executive summary once a month. Your communication must be tailored to what each person cares about. If the HR director is worried about retention, highlight how the project helps keep people happy. This is about speaking their language so your message gets through. Putting it all together for the long haul. Stakeholder analysis is an ongoing process. Projects change, people leave, and new leaders arrive. Revisit your stakeholder map at every major milestone to see if power or interest has shifted. Mastering this skill separates those who just do tasks from those who lead change. You understand the human element of business, moving people toward a goal. If you want to dive deeper into how to lead your team through these changes, subscribe to the Mychangemanagement channel right now.